everybody. How are we doing today? It's Wednesday, hump day, also known as Woke Wednesday on the Morning Night Live, and I am glad I made it. I almost didn't. It was a little bit of touch and go whether or not I was going to make it here this morning. So anyway, no danger stories, just I was running really late. But here I am, the one that you love, asking for another day. So there you go. Anyway, we'll try to get into, there was almost another insurrection. I mean, sort of. I mean, well, we'll talk about it after the intro. Johnny, play the intro. Johnny, play the intro. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. All right, let's stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And share this stream, please. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight channel. It's Wednesday, hump day. Is it hump day? Wait, what's today? No, it's Tuesday. What the hell day is this? Am I got the wrong day again? What the hell is today? It is... My God, I don't even know what day it is. Guess what day it is? Yeah, it's hump day. Why did I think it was... I don't know. Anyway, silly effing me. Anyway, welcome to the show. I am glad you're here, and I see lots of people in the chat. And yeah, Johnny needs espresso. I think PDawg needs espresso. Something. Anyway, there was almost an insurrection at the White House, and I got to tell you, it was frightening, and we're fast. It's fortunate that nobody was shot, and it's just you got to worry about these things. It's because these people, they're nuts. Oh no, it wasn't anyone from the that would have been there on January 6th. It's a whole new bunch of people. We'll tell you about that in a minute. And then we got, I got a few Woke Wednesday stories open. Some are Woke Wednesday, some are just news, but we'll get into it after I say good morning to everyone on this 613th episode of the Morning Night Live. First in the chat today was Select a Boy.
Yeah,
who gets the bell. And thank you for being here, Johnny on the spot, as opposed to that Johnny. Y'all realize there's no Johnny over there, right? I just look over there and yell Johnny, and then I click the correct buttons, but sometimes I miss. So I can't really blame it on anybody but me. Also in the chat is Mike Savage, Blarg. Also good morning to Jonathan Peterson, Septus Wolves. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Tarai Dales, good morning. Gunfox61, the administrator of our Discord server. Good morning to Dom O'Leary. Nice to see you back. Maddie, good morning. And Ronan gets the horn because I don't know where you're driving, but someone said up and down 95. I'm not sure. Also, good morning to Nobody, Not Me. Nice to see you back. Also, good morning to Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Attack Alpaca. Why Are You So Angry is in the house. Good morning. Also, good morning, Dumb Beard. And am I getting everybody? I'm getting close. Also, Small Man's back. Nice to see you again. Good morning to Aaron Meredith. And it's, I didn't start the stream as early as I normally do, so people will be rolling in slowly but surely, and we'll just see them as they come in. But while you're here, hit the like button, hit the share arrow, share this out on social media. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can figure that out by looking down in the description down below if you'd like to do that. So I appreciate all who are able. So let's just go into it right away, because a fascinating thing happened Now, I'll show you how two different places describe it. Ebony Williams, nice to see you. Good to see you. Good. Good morning. A couple different places describe this in different ways. And Justin, did I say good morning to you already? No, I did not. Good morning, Justin Anderson, who says, everyone finally got a new phone after I broke my other one, and why I've been gone for a while. Oh, well, I'm glad you got a new phone. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon, too. Anyway, so let's get into the new insurrection. Could we call it an insurrection? I don't know. Let me describe it this way. If a whole bunch of protesters, activists, whatever, surround the White House and block every entrance to the White House, could there be a danger in that? I don't know. Now I'm pretty sure that they have tunnels and other ways to get in and out of the White House if the White House is surrounded, because the bunker and all that. But this is fascinating that this is allowed to happen in this day and age of insurrection, right? So here we go. Now this is how Human Events describes it. Activists storm White House. Storm the White House, demanding climate infrastructure priorities. In what could easily have been escalated into an attempt at an insurrection, Team Left activists from the Sunrise Movement marched to the White House demanding Biden put climate change at the top of his priorities. According to reports, protesters blocked all 10 entrances to the White House, demanding Biden succumb to their Green New Deal agenda and include fully funded civilian climate corps in his infrastructure bill. Now, so they're blocking all 10 entrances to the White House. That could be a dangerous situation, don't you think? Good morning, Renee Mayette. Good morning, Asian Research Directorate. And they tweeted out, today we showed up at Joe Biden's doorstep with 500 people and blockaded every entrance to the White House, demanding that he fully fund civilian climate corps in his infrastructure bill. Now, I'm curious what specifically civilian climate corps is. I'm sure it'll be here somewhere. As reported by Breitbart, Representative Jamal Bowman was just one of several lawmakers who joined activists demanding the Biden administration, quote, go big and bold and visionary for our country and for our future and for our planet. Now, I don't know. Did I read? There was a climate alarmist tweet. Well, not tweet. That did this big. It wasn't a thread. It was just a couple paragraphs, talking about how terrible the environment was and how the change in climate is causing the sea ice to melt in the North Pole, and it was all this stuff. And then at the bottom it said, "Oh no, this was a bulletin from 1913 about how the oceans were going to flood the cities and things like that." Good morning, Ranting Monkey. Nice to see you in the chat. Good to see you, sir. And it was funny because there were alarmists in 1913 saying the same thing, that the ocean, the sea ice is melting up north and all this other stuff. And I just had to laugh because if you go back and watch Al Gore's movie, okay, the Inconvenient Truth. If everything that he said or that movie said happened at the time it was supposed to happen, much of Florida would already be underwater. Much of New York City would be gone. We'd lose half the East Coast. It hasn't happened, has it? But hey, it's amazing. It hasn't happened. So anyway, Jamal Bowman. Here's Jamal Bowman. I think this is...
Peace and love, everyone. Congressman Bowman here representing New York 16, right outside the White House, hanging out with Sunrise, putting pressure on the Biden administration to go big and bold and visionary for our country and for our future and for our planet. Let's go. Let's get it. Peace and love.
So Jamal Bowman is one of the new male member of the squad, right? And he's and Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Cori Bush also appeared. So here's some. Is this them?
Has the Biden administration and the U.S. Army?
Oh no, that's not them. But anyway, they were here. Oh, here they are, Cori Bush and look at the big hug. Oh, they are so happy to see each other. And I can't stand either of them. Anyway, thank you. Now, I don't know who this Marty is. Is it Marty who... Oh, let's see. So, I guess I think this was supposed to be Gunfox, I'm pretty sure. Who says, remember a few years ago, a few gays handcuffed themselves to the White House fence to protest the military anti-gay openness stuff. I wish the security would have just used... Okay, oh, Gunfox. I don't know if a flamethrower would have been the appropriate tool to remove them from the White House, handcuffed to the White House. But you know, that is some creative thinking there, sir. And thank you for the almost 5 and Gunfox 61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you very much, sir. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that through the Streamlabs or YouTube Super Chats, or just go to PDawgKnight.live, and that you can do it there too. Anyway, so these were climate activists, and let's see, who is this? Ocasio-Cortez says, what we are here to tell them is that you can't break this promise to us anymore. Ocasio-Cortez said they're setting up a world that they won't have to live in. Okay, that's why this matters. That's why we fight. I know, and it still begs the question. You know, I know that the former president, not the one with the funny hair, but the one with more melanin, the melanin enhanced one, you know, 2 presidents ago, you know, being one of the wealthiest people ever to been in the White House. I bet you didn't know that either. See, the Indonesian guy that raised the former president, the melanin enhanced one, was a multi-billionaire. I bet you didn't know that. Anyway. He bought a house on a basically an island. I mean, he's in Martha's Vineyard in this big ass 7,000 square foot house on Martha's Vineyard. That should have been underwater 10 years ago, according to Al Gore. And it's not. I wonder why. I don't understand it. Anyway, did I finish even reading that sentence? What we're here to tell them is we can't break this promise. Oh yeah, I did read that. And then as a result of your hard work, we've got folks in the Senate. We've got folks in the House, not just me, not just like, okay, this has got to be a Cortez speaking because they added likes in there. It's not just like they like to say a tiny group of the squad. We have a critical mass of people saying no to climate, no deal. No climate, no deal, she added. Okay, let's see. Anyway, but I gotta ask the question. Hello, special can't ask it. Also, good morning alone, an infamous one. So listen up here. Thank you, Gunfox61. Marty, if Florida would be underwater, so would most of the Midwest, which is 70% of the Midwest was an inland sea millions of years ago. Well, they didn't say that part though. They just say that Florida would be, right? And the East Coast, and they say New York City would be underwater. But there's not even water trickling into Miami yet. It's amazing. But thank you, Gunfox61, for sponsoring the show. I appreciate you. So that's how Human Events described that. But the fact that they're blocking all 10 entrances to the White House, I am curious. But anyway, here's how PJ Media covered it. Tree huggers surround White House. No unarmed protesters shot this time. Roughly 500. Okay. This is a little more descriptive of what the event was. Hello, Sapphire Dragon. Roughly 500 eco-Nazis. Now, I don't like comparing them to Nazis. Okay, I am a practitioner practitioner of Godwin's law. But anyway, blocked all entrances to the White House yesterday, demanding that Whispering Joe include a civilian climate corps addendum in his $1 trillion infrastructure bill and support the Green New Deal. The group calling themselves the Sunrise Movement created what some people might deem an insurrection. Oh, wait a minute. Insurrection? Fortunately, none were wearing MAGA hats, so no unarmed protesters were shot by mystery guards. Dozens were supposedly arrested. Oh, they did arrest some people. Oh, there you go. There's pictures of people who have been arrested. Today we showed up at Biden's doorstep, blah, 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 blah. And the Secret Service then arrested dozens of us. Well, if you block every entrance to the White House, that's probably their job, to remove you from those entrances to the White House. Sorry, you can't block access to the White House. Anyway, New York's uber progressive representative Jamal Bowman just couldn't pass up a chance to do some race baiting. Oh yeah, this is the other part. You missed this. They didn't show this part in the last article. So here's more of what he said. In fact, did they? Let's see if you can hear it in this one.
They occupy our streets. They mass incarcerate us, but they leave us food insecure in transportation deserts, and our buildings and schools falling apart. Fuck that! We gotta go big and take it to another level. And this is our moment. This is the moment.
Okay, now it's interesting because they said there's about 500 people there, and obviously the crowd looks huge the way they have this angled, and that's fine. I don't care. But here's what he said. He said they occupy our streets, they mass incarcerate us, but they leave us food insecure in transportation deserts. Now, I have heard the term food deserts before. Don't know that I've ever heard the term transportation desert. That's a fascinating new one that I've never heard. Anyway, he continues, and our buildings and schools falling apart. F that. I'll just let him use his own colorful language. Bowman said at the event while speaking about the history of discrimination against black people. Now, I thought this was a climate rally, but of course, black people most affected. We've got to go big and take it to another level. This is our moment. This is our moment. I don't think so. You know, it's funny because has this crowd of, it's a crowd of 500 people, they said. Now it looks like it might be a few more. And if they blocked every entrance, I'm not sure. You think they'd have more than 50 people per entrance. But anyway, the lefty critics of the $1 trillion infrastructure deal believe the plan does nothing for climate change, an accusation Press Secretary Jen Psaki, again, every time I say her name, I'm thinking of a small white cup of warm booze. Anyway, pushed back saying, I would dispute the notion that it doesn't do anything for climate change. You know what? What exactly do we need to do for climate change? If the climate change experts are saying that regardless of what we do, it's not going to stop what's happening, then what exactly are you going to do? It's just like, and also here's the other thing. There's a lot of innovative companies out there already doing things that make people feel better about what they do in their lives, Elon Musk and his little Tesla company, right? Although, did you hear they recalled 300,000 Teslas in China because there was a problem where they suddenly accelerate, apparently, but anyway, it's a recall in China. I don't know if they're going to do it here, but haven't heard much about it here. Good morning, Chris Jones. Nice to see you. So anyway, the Sunrise Movement is allegedly funded by Comrade George Soros. Oh, shocker. Shocker. They blocked all 10 entrances to the White House and bellowed their demands. No reports of tear gas, pepper spray, firearms, or batons being used on the potential Green Panther insurrectionists. Oh, and then Washington's narcissism poster child AOC had to pipe in as well, and we already read her what she said. So anyway, who wrote this? This is some very Kevin Downey Jr. is a comedian and columnist. Well, he's had some funny little punchlines in there. But I still go, you know what? We've been hearing the climate alarmism, and now don't count me in as a person who denies that climate is changing. Because the climate's been changing ever since the Ice Age. That's the shirt that I should have made a long time ago, and I don't think I've seen anyone do it yet. Global warming ever since the Ice Age. You know what I mean? Good morning, good morning to my favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Nice to see you. So anyway, the climate's been changing forever. It's been and we've been hearing about it. Well, like I said, the 1913 tweet. I wonder if I have that in my bookmarks. Did I bookmark that? I want to read this to you if I have it, but I may not have bookmarked it. Yeah, I did not, unfortunately. But it was taken from an article written in 1913 where they were talking about the polar, the North Pole, the ice caps melting, and they were worried that it was going to cause the seas to rise and cover New York City, and just it's the same thing you're hearing now. And it's interesting because they also talk about how glaciers have retreated. And yes, glaciers have been retreating since the Ice Age when they were formed. And, have you ever, the last little bit always seems to melt the fastest. Just saying. But has there been a major rise in sea level? Now, the one thing that you'd have to be concerned with is if the Antarctic ice all melts. See, because, when you have a cup of water and the ice is in it and the ice melts, yeah, there's a little bit of displacement, but, it's kind of displacement for the ice, too. So they're worried more about the ice melting on land masses, and the Antarctic obviously is a giant land mass covered in ice and snow and whatever. So, but there isn't any evidence that that's happening there. It's just in the Arctic. So who knows? I don't know. And guess what? Has climate changed since the advent of humans? At all in the millions of years or whatever it is that you believe the humans have been on the planet? Has the climate ever changed? Has there been anything that's happened that caused the climate to change and people had to adapt to it? Oh, wait. Like, as it's been constant, there's been constant climate change. And is it all, we're going to adapt. There are people already doing innovative solutions that they think are going to make people feel better. Who knows if they'll actually do anything? But it's yes, Gunfox 61. Most of the northern part of the U.S. was covered by ice. Yes, I live in a state that was covered by ice, and we have thousands of lakes left because of it. And it's not a terrible. Avocados Diaboli. Good. New York City could use a bath. Yes, it could. It's stinking. Anyway, good morning, King on Common Law. Also, all right. You got me with that. New York could use a bath. Anyway. All right, let's get into just some little news items some random news items here and there that I have. First one here is from Daily Caller. Prison sentencing for Derek Chauvin may not be done yet, according to a report. Derek Chauvin has reportedly closed in on a potential plea deal with federal prosecutors. Multiple anonymous sources told local CBS affiliate Monday. Chauvin, a former. Now, if anyone doesn't know who Derek Chauvin is, that you need this explanation. Hello, Rock. Let's pull it up so you can come out. Anyway, Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer, was sentenced Friday to 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd. Chauvin faces life in prison for federal civil rights charges, but a plea deal would reduce that sentence to 20 to 25 years. The sources told CBS Minnesota. Chauvin was found guilty on April 2021 for second-degree unintentional murder and third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. I've never heard, I've lived here, 30 years, 31, 32 years, and I'd never heard of this unintentional murder charge, but it's fascinating how they do that here in Minnesota. So that was the biggest charge that he had was the second-degree unintentional murder. Chauvin likely referred to the potential plea deal during remarks he made to the Floyd family during a sentencing last week. I wonder if that was what he was talking about, where he said, due to legal matters, I'm not able to give a full formal statement. I give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that will be of interest, and I hope will give you some peace of mind, Chauvin said in a Minnesota courtroom. The plea deal will likely require Chauvin to explain what he did do to Floyd and why he chose to do it. The sources told CBS Minnesota, we don't want to need, and then George's brother, Terrence Floyd, said, we don't want to see no more slaps on the wrist. We've been through that already. Really? How were you through that already? You think 22 and a half years for, oh my gosh. You think 22 and a half years is a slap on the wrist for really what he essentially was attempting to do his job and ended up through fault of his own, allowing the man to die beneath him. Okay. Again, unintentional murder. Fascinating. And he's, one of the things Terrence Floyd asked, what was going on through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck? Well, probably they were trying to restrain a man much larger than him who had already been fighting with police and worrying about a crowd. I can imagine all the things that were going through his head that gave me some reasonable doubt, at least on 2 of the 3 charges. I still think the 3rd charge was pretty much proven. Anyway, former Hennepin County Chief Public Defender Mary Moriarty told CBS Minnesota that she thinks Chauvin may have had been motivated to negotiate a plea deal after the state quickly found him guilty. And again, so a plea deal doesn't even, it's interesting, a plea deal, that just means he's trying to save himself a little bit. Doesn't mean that he's guilty of anything. Plea deals are done all the time, and I think that people who don't want to go through trials and are hoping to avoid jail time or to at least get probation sometimes plead to things they are not guilty of. So who knows, man? We'll see. Anyway, good morning, John Smith and Jaden Emerald and Lauren Stanhope. How you doing? So anyway, U.S. Attorney's Office and Floyd family attorney Ben Crump did not respond to the Daily Caller News Foundation request for comments. Well, it's just how it goes. All right. Another news, another unarmed Trump-supporting grandma has been charged in the January 6th Capitol breach. Before I get to that, thank you, Gunbox61, for continually supporting the show. I greatly appreciate it. Who says Krakatoa, Tambora, Petey Rees, and Vesuvius. Oh yeah, plus Yellowstone. I'm sure would love to show what climate change really is. By the way, the first 2 caused a 1 full degree world temperature drop and at least 1 year without a summer. But we we cause climate change. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. It's there's a whole it's funny how quickly the world changes from certain natural events. Of course, that's probably why we don't have dinosaurs, right? The meteor theory. Anyway, thank you again, Gunvox, for sponsoring the show. Greatly appreciated. King and Common Law Selects Boy, just about to pack up my old hog and run about 500 miles out to the prairie. It's supposed to be 110 in the shade today. Good thing my brother has a bar at the end of the trip. Wow, I wouldn't mind going where you're going, King on Common Law. There you go. And John Smith, say good morning to Elizabeth for me. I appreciate it. Breach, where were... Okay, anyway. So yeah, the Capitol breach, where were they? They were let in. Yeah, in some parts they were let in. And some, in fact, the first person who pleaded guilty, she went through an open door. It wasn't even a breach. They went in a door that was already unlocked, open, whatever you want to call it, because, it's the building probably wasn't secured. Just saying. So she was there and she pled guilty to parading. Anyway, here's the new one. A 69-year-old grandmother from Los Angeles was arrested Monday and charged in connection to the January 6th breach of the U.S. Capitol. Lois Lynn McNichol was charged with entering the Capitol and released on $10,000 bond. Charged with entering the Capitol.
Wow.
Charged with entering the Capitol. Insurrection! For her participation in the U.S. Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, she was charged with knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority and violent entry and disorderly conduct on U.S. Capitol grounds. Conan Daily Report. Okay, wait. let's read this sentence again, and then we're gonna describe this woman again. Knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful entry and violent entry and disorderly conduct on U.S. Capitol grounds, the 69-year-old grandmother from Los Angeles was charged with. Hello, Lindsay. Nice to have you back. A month earlier, an FBI special agent interviewed McNichol at her workplace, the report said. She told the agent that she went to Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021 to hear Trump speak and then entered the U.S. Capitol, but denied taking photos and videos while inside the building. In a voluntary interview, McNichol allegedly told the FBI that she knew about the U.S. Capitol's barriers and security measures, but still claimed she did not feel that she was doing anything wrong. HuffPost Ryan R. Riley reported Monday, citing court documents. Let's see here. As highlighted by the Daily Wire, a 49-year-old unarmed grandmother of 5 presiding in Indiana on Friday was the first to be sentenced in relation to the breach. A breach some in the media have likened to the September 11th, 2001 terror attack, which killed nearly 3,000 people. And they should all be embarrassed for making that comparison. They should be embarrassed for calling this a terrorist attack. How many times have protesters entered buildings in Washington, D.C. As part of a protest? Please. Anyway, we already know about her. Let's see. She was sentenced to 3 years probation. The 49-year-old Morgan Lloyd from Indiana sentenced 3 years probation, $500 in restitution, and 40 hours of community service. Under the terms of probation, the 49-year-old is also banned from owning a firearm. And it said she did not participate. Morgan Lloyd, the one who was sentenced, did not participate in any violence and was only in the Capitol for an estimated 10 minutes, according to court documents. The agreement helped her avoid potential 6 months behind bars. For what? They would, anyway. Yeah, and then, yeah, if you want to read this article, it'll be in my link that I put in the chat, in the description below every day of everything that we read. It gives a little bit of some of the mea culpa bullshit that her lawyer, her court appointed attorney made her do. but it's a little too embarrassing to read again. So now this is interesting. The GOP calls Democrats bluff on the Capitol riot. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her fellow Democrats have sought to weaponize the Capitol riot at every turn, acting as though 1/6 constituted a similar threat as 9/11. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez repeatedly suggested that her life had been in danger, even though she was in a building that none of the protesters went in. Anyway, President Joe Biden laughably claimed the Capitol riot was worse for American democracy than many bombings at the Capitol, 4 presidential assassinations, and Pearl Harbor, and 9/11. With these hyperventilating assertions, Democrats are posturing as defenders of the peace, defenders of order, defenders of the temple of democracy itself. Yet Democrats have a gaping weakness when it comes to defending order, and Republicans are definitely moving to expose it. Last Thursday, Representatives Don Bacon from Nebraska, Rodney Davis from Illinois, Tony Gonzalez from Texas, David Joyce of Ohio, Nancy Mace of South Carolina, Maria Elvira Salazar from Florida, and Van Taylor from Texas introduced legislation to investigate the involvement of Antifa in the nationwide riots of 2020. Ha ha! Way to go. Hello, Kessler. Hello, LA Prepper and TC. What up? Here's a quote. Last year, organized cells of criminals hijacked overwhelmingly peaceful protests and used the legitimate grievances of others as cover to commit horrific acts of violence, Mace said in a statement. They caused billions of dollars in property damage and attacked law enforcement officers and innocent bystanders in cities across the country. These riots often cause the most harm to the marginalized communities the criminals claim to represent. Antifa bans represent the same threat to our nation posed by other terrorist groups. We must do all we can to understand and neutralize this dangerous movement before more are harmed. Now, while many Americans protested after the death of George Floyd, many of those protests evolved into arson and looting. And a tragic irony, this violence in the name of helping black people destroyed black lives, black livelihoods, and black monuments. Antifa, black bloc agitators led or took part in many of the riots, especially in violent hotbeds like Portland and Seattle. The noxious ideology of Marxist critical race theory inspired a great deal of the violence. So it goes on to talk more about the looting and violence. But here's the thing. I'm going to skip this paragraph because you already know this. Democrats strained to condemn Republicans for the Capitol riot, but Republicans loudly condemned the violent rioters at the time. President Donald Trump, who told the January protesters to remain peaceful, loudly condemned the rioters a few days afterwards. By contrast, Biden and the Democrats mostly ignored the violence over the summer. Biden did condemn violence, but he only condemned Antifa once in a local news interview. By contrast, he repeatedly mentioned militia groups and the Proud Boys, often associated with the right. Trump argued that Biden has given moral aid and comfort to the vandals, repeating the monstrous lie that they were peaceful protests. So interesting that they have filing this bill. I'm going to skip down here. The new Republican bill, H.R. 4117, would establish a National Commission on Domestic Terrorist Attacks in the United States. This commission would be structured like the, oh gosh, they're doing this. They're doing the same thing. If Democrats want to claim the moral high ground on riots, they need to vocally condemn Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioters who terrorized America's cities last summer. So let's see. The commission would be structured like the 9/11 commission. It also resembles the proposed January 6th commission Pelosi first supported in H.R. 3233, a bill that died in the Senate. Let's see. So anyway, by filing this bill, Mace and her allies exposed just how partisan Democrats' focus on the Capitol riot is, which has already been subjected to law enforcement scrutiny and congressional investigations. Democrats aren't defending law and order or shielding democracy. They're weaponizing riots to condemn their political enemies, all the while ignoring the more damaging riots perpetuated by leftist agitators this summer. Well, good for them. It's probably not going to go anywhere, but I think they should squeal like a pig if it doesn't, and just make it heard that they don't care, that Democrats don't give a crap about violence or insurrections. They just care about trying to politicize that event. That was not the worst insurrection in history. The great selfie insurrection that, with very unplanned and no weapons. All right, let's keep going on. Apparently, the recent election in New York City has become a bit of a mess, I guess. Apparently, they're finding all sorts of problems. New York Board of Elections keeps finding new definitions of the word fail. The group that brought voting machines that didn't work when it was too humid, that couldn't keep track of its own technology, that disqualified more than 80,000 mail-in ballots in the 2020 primaries, admitted Tuesday that, surprise, it messed up the first calculation of ranked choice voting. So they did this ranked choice voting in New York City for their municipal offices. The Board of Elections released results that showed Eric Adams had a roughly 15,000 vote lead over Kathy Garcia. But hold on, the total number of in-person votes was 140,000 more than primary day. Incredibly, it turns out those were mostly test ballots that were not cleared from the system before the real vote. Oh gosh, we were aware there's a discrepancy in the unofficial RCV round-by-round elimination report, the BOE said, hours after it had already released the figures. The official results of the mayoral primaries aren't expected until July 12th after all the absentee ballots are tallied, so there's plenty of time to count and double count and triple count, but it won't change the fact that the Board of Elections is an embarrassment. It's a group that has resisted reform and change, even as our elected officials sanctimoniously lectures other states about voting rights. So congratulations to the New York Board of Elections. If I had a donkey of the day thing, I would put it up here, but here you go. Moving on. Maricopa County is also going to be scrapping voting machines used in the GOP audit. Interesting. Maricopa County announced Monday, this is in Arizona if you're not familiar with Maricopa County. Maricopa County announced Monday it would replace all of the voting machines used in the 2020 Republican-led election audit due to concerns the handlers of the equipment were allegedly, quote, not certified. And that the systems could be compromised. The voters of Maricopa County can rest assured the county will never use equipment that could pose a risk to free and fair elections, the county said in the statement. Oh, now they're worried about free and fair elections. Very good, Maricopa County. Way to jump on board. It's about time. The voters of Maricopa, okay. So the Democratic Arizona Secretary of State Kate Hobbs sent a letter to the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors in May expressing concerns about the election equipment that was subpoenaed by the state. I have grave concerns regarding the security and integrity of these machines, given that the chain of custody, a critical security tenet, has been compromised and election officials do not know what was done with the machines while under Cyber Ninja's control, Hobbs wrote. Hobbs alleged the loss of custody could jeopardize the integrity of the machines in future elections. Hobbs said she believes once election officials lose custody and control over the voting systems and components, those devices should not be reused in future elections. And that's a fascinating statement. Okay, once, what did she say here? Once election officials lose custody and control over voting systems and components, those devices should not. You know, there's a lot of places around this country that used drop boxes for ballots. How exactly? Now, I don't know if that happened in Arizona. I'm not sure 100%. But if you think about that, how does someone? Don't you lose custody and control over those components when you're just using drop boxes? Anyone can throw a ballot into a drop box. You don't have any control over that. So it's fascinating that they're thinking of getting. Oops, sorry about that. Getting machines that do that. Audit update, paper examination, and counting are finished today. And thank you to all the amazing Arizona volunteers who made this audit possible. Yeah, they did. They did finish the audit. And there's supposed to be some video somewhere, some little mini documentary about the audit that's supposed to tell about the results. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if any of you know where it is, but if you know, drop me a link either in my DMs or in the chat or whatever. All right, let's keep going here because we've got a lot to get through. So this Biden's nominee complicity in an eco-terrorism case disqualifies her from leading the Bureau of Land Management. So we just had the second insurrection around the White House with the eco-terrorists. Well, this is also concerning about this person that he has nominated for leading the Bureau of Land Management. Western law. Listen to this. This is amazing that this person would be nominated for anything. Western loggers, mill workers, and small communities were shocked when President Biden nominated Tracy Stone Manning as the director of the Bureau of Land Management. Stone Manning was part of the notorious domestic eco-terrorist group Earth First when she was a 23-year-old graduate student at the University of Montana. As an editor of one of the group's publications, she provided fodder to the faithful who opposed congressionally mandated logging on federal lands. On one occasion, however, she went beyond advocacy. In 1989, she was an accessory to an act of eco-terrorism called tree spiking in an effort to stop the sale of Idaho National Forest timber. Tree spiking occurs when large metal spikes are driven into trees scheduled for harvesting in order to make the trees unsafe to log. The spikes can have a devastating and even deadly effect on a logger or mill worker when a chain or circular saw strikes the spikes. For example, on May 8, 1987, a 23-year-old mill worker lost several teeth and part of his cheek and jaw after a large bandsaw shattered when it struck an 11-inch spike driven into a tree. Tree spiking is truly an act of terror because it is meant to bring fear into the hearts of loggers and mill workers and bring fear Stone Manning and her colleagues did. I remember well those days in the late 80s and early 90s because my pro bono clients included loggers and their families, mills and their employees, and residents of tiny northwestern towns and counties. Their lives and livelihoods were put at risk by Earth First and the acts it advocated openly. These eco-terrorists schooled their acolytes in tactics they called monkey wrenching, which involved the sabotage of the heavy equipment machinery used in logging and mining. Little wonder that in 2002 the FBI labeled eco-terrorism as one of the nation's primary domestic terrorist threats. And they are still one of the big terrorist threats. But somehow she got immunity from federal prosecution in 1993, and now Joe Biden has nominated her for the Bureau of Land Management as the head of the Bureau for Land Management. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't think that makes sense. Anybody? You want someone who is a former tree spiker heading the Bureau of Land Management? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't get it. Good morning, Duck Dog. Good morning, Jonas Pedersen. How you doing? All right. Let's see what I have next here. Oh, just this is funny. So, is it New York Representative Elise Stefanik? She's kind of didn't she take over Liz Cheney's place as the conference chair or something like that in the Republican Party? Well, she has a primary, a Democratic primary challenger. She's not a Democrat. I'm saying that there's someone running on the Democratic side in her district, and he was a lawyer for China Daily. He represented China Daily in a copyright lawsuit. Now, here's the thing. I guess I don't necessarily care that he was doing his job as a lawyer for the China Daily publication, but it's just such a coincidence that so many of these Democrats have ties, direct or indirect, to China. It's just odd. Anyway, A New York Democrat challenging Representative Elise Stefanik represented the state-run propaganda outlet China Daily in a 2019 lawsuit. Filings reveal Matthew Patorti, who emerged as Stefanik's main competitor after strong fundraising in his campaign opening days, was the Chinese propaganda outlet's sole representative during litigation over a 2019 copyright complaint filed by an American photographer, according to legal filings obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. Patorti, as an attorney for Pillsbury Winthrop Shaw Pittman LLP, filed several legal motions on behalf of China Daily beginning in February 2019. China Daily is one of Beijing's primary tools for pushing the Chinese Communist Party's agenda overseas. The State Department designated China Daily a propaganda operative of Beijing. In February 2020, the outlet spends millions of dollars annually to publish pro-China articles in U.S. publications, according to several years of Foreign Agent Registration Act filings reviewed by the Free Beacon. So I just find it fascinating. Another connection. There you go. Let's see what else. Biden allies launch a new group. Oh, yes, this is interesting. Now, I don't know if these are his allies or his handlers. I'm just saying. Hello, Scrappy Pirate. Allies of President Joe Biden, who spent tens of millions to get him elected, are starting a new nonprofit advocacy group. Yay! Set to promote the radical legislation agenda of the administration. This is a Breitbart article, so always take it with that in mind. The group, Unite the Country Now, will play as the nonprofit branch of the conveniently similarly named super PAC, Unite the Country, which spent around $50 million to help Biden get elected. Axios reports recently 2 Democrats, Mark Doyle and Amanda Loveday, who were behind it, officially incorporated the sister nonprofit in D.C. Unite the Country Now, according to the report, is set to, quote, swell an already formidable stable of independent pro-Biden outfits trying to get his top policy goals past recalcitrant congressional Republicans and some tough to wrangle in Democrats. I wonder who those might be. Who do you think the tough to wrangle Democrats are? Put them in the chat if you have an idea. In turn, the group will also allow Biden donors to support a group that is devoted to helping Biden and his far left agenda. Okay, that has some editorializing by Brett right there. Excuse me. I need my coffee. Sorry. Anyway, fascinating. As if I wonder if they're all puppeteers. Unite the Country. Yeah, we'll give it one of these too. Thank you, Lindsay, for giving me the idea. All right. Apparently Herschel Walker is going to enter the Georgia Senate race. Now, Herschel Walker can run or at least he could run really fast. In fact, I saw him running the Drake relays in 1981. Anyway, apparently he's going to run for the Georgia Senate seat in 2022 on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. He announced on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. Trump says he told me he's going to. I think he will. I had dinner with him a week ago. He's a great guy. He's a patriot. He's a very loyal person. They love him in Georgia. So, it'll be interesting to see how that works. Obviously, name recognition will be through the roof for Herschel Walker, one of the greatest college running backs probably ever, and certainly had a really good pro career too. So that'll be interesting. I just don't know. He would be running against Raphael Warnock, who won the seat in a January runoff. Warnock made him the first black senator to represent the state of Georgia. Multiple Republicans are waiting to decide whether to launch their own bids until Walker makes an official announcement, including former Senator Kelly Loeffler, who lost the seat to Warnock. Representative Buddy Carter. Okay. So there's a couple other Republicans who are interested in running, but Herschel Walker gets that name recognition. I don't know that. I don't get me wrong. I like Herschel Walker. But Senator Herschel Walker, does not ring a bell for me. just saying. Anyway, but that's interesting. Keep going. Apparently, I remember we were talking about that town, the suburb of Atlanta that wants to secede basically from the city of Atlanta. Well, y'all dirty trash bags, as Atlanta neighbors pondered declaring independence from city over crime. Restaurateur has gotten a message from somebody. Uh-oh. A Buckhead restaurant owner said she was the victim of an alleged hate crime this week when a customer sent her racist, anti-Asian messages and threatened her. Oh, this is some, what do they call that? The AAIP crime thing? Sei-Chi Chang and her husband own the Grand China restaurant, which they opened in Buckhead in 1978. We serve on snowy days, rainy days, and all the holidays. We did our best to serve the community, Chang told Fox 5 Atlanta. The trouble started when a woman asked to cancel a delivery order because it was running late, according to Chang. You cancel the order, that's fine. We respect that, but it's going to take a while to give you a refund. We'll give you a refund. Don't worry about it, Chang said. The woman kept calling Chang's restaurant from 2 different phone numbers and said she would keep calling until she received a refund. After we gave the credit, we took a photo and sent it to her cell phone. That's when she sent us a nasty and hate crime text messages. The woman allegedly texted insults with racial overtones to Chang, threatened physical harm, and blamed the restaurant owner for the pandemic. Great. Thanks, flat face. You know what she said. This is all going on my review. Oh, well, God, no, a bad Yelp review. Oh no. You know, here's how this works. Sometimes when you pay for food with a credit card and it gets canceled, in some systems, you're not going to see a refund until they either do their end of the day, because sometimes in some systems the refund can go through prior to, as long as you get in before the end of the day, it will never get charged. Or if you are charged, then sometimes it takes 3 to 5 days to get a credit card refund done, through most systems. So apparently their system already charges the card fully, and they would have had to wait for refund. But if you're getting mad because of that, it's like, I don't know. Y'all are the reason. Y'all the reason COVID here, dirty. Okay. The language described tells me that this is it's a woman of color. The woman reportedly called again on Monday and called Chang an expletive. I feel sad because we've been here serving the community for over 43 years, Chang said. So this borders on hate crime against Asians. I'm just saying. Y'all the reason COVID here, dirty ass biatch. Okay, whatever. All right, let's keep going. Texas Governor Abbott is using stimulus money for shovel-ready jobs. Hey, shovel-ready jobs. Fantastic. But it says that's sure to infuriate Biden and the media. The Democrats wanted to get the COVID stimulus funding through Congress without much in the way of oversight or strings. The idea there wasn't noble or pure. It was all about helping blue states out of their self-made fiscal disasters. It was about sticking it to the red states, which tend to be more fiscally responsible than the blue states. Meanwhile, plagiarist Biden has created a disaster on the Texas border and refuses even to acknowledge that it's an issue. He's canceled effective policies, he's canceled the wall, and he's so far gone. He put Kamala Harris in charge and hasn't even demanded she do anything. She hasn't gone within 800 miles of where the highest number of crossings are happening. Ironically, she visited El Paso, which has a border wall. If you're the governor of Texas and you have Biden's border disaster on one hand and a pile of federal money with a few strings attached on the other, and you've got a wealthy primary aiming to run at you for your right to 2022, what do you do? Well, Governor Greg Abbott has just reached a grandmaster level at epic trolling while also enacting popular policy that will do some good for the state. And here it is. Since Texas will receive $15.8 billion windfall under the huge COVID-19 relief package signed by President Joe Biden in March, with hardly any strings attached, in effect, the U.S. Treasury will cover the cost, even though Biden will halted wall construction when he took office. So he says he's going to use the stimulus money to build the wall, finish the wall in Texas, the border wall. Oh my. I thought he was using it for some other infrastructure, but no, he's going to use the $15.8 billion in windfall to construct a wall, a border wall. Oh boy. Public policy isn't often a work of art, but this is. When they're asking Biden about his choice of ice cream again, rather than ask why he's such an awful president, that's a good point. What is this? Biden visits the Pearl Ice Cream Parlor in La Crosse, Wisconsin. A reporter suggested he order a rocky road for Antifa. Wait, Rocky, what did I say? Rocky, what did I just say? I'm falling asleep. Rocky, okay. Good Lord. Anyway, he was. That's what he. Anyway, one could argue that we didn't have the money, so it shouldn't be spent. But that argument has been lost repeatedly for ages now. One cannot credibly argue that Biden has not created a historic disaster on the border and Texas as its victim. One cannot credibly argue that he is not shirking one of his core responsibilities to the states, which is a national. In this case, the border security. Sorry, guys, I'm just didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Abbott has that money available. It will create jobs. They're even shovel ready. Texas gets the wall it needs. Biden gets the bill. Abbott gets the political gold mine, and Biden gets the shaft. So that's beautiful. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Sorry about that. All right, moving on. Certain immigrants can be detained indefinitely. Supreme Court rules. More immigration news. The Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that the government can indefinitely change select migrants subject to deportation who claim they will face persecution if they are deported back to their country of origin. The court ruled 6-3 that immigrants are not entitled to a bond hearing under the claims that until their claims can be verified by the government. Liberal Justices Sonia Sotomayor, Stephen Breyer, and Elena Kagan dissented from the ruling. For detained immigrants who seek to halt their removal proceedings, those aliens are not entitled to a bond hearing. Justice Samuel Alito wrote for the majority. The case, Johnson versus Guzman Chavez, pertains to those who have faced previously deportation and have been caught again, claiming that they would be harmed if they returned to their home country. Immigration officers may establish whether those attempts to stay have a reasonable fear before either sending them back to their place of origin or introducing their claims to the legal system, Justice Alito explained. What was debated, however, was whether those immigrants can be held abeyance without seeing an immigration judge potentially indefinitely. Alito argued that the Trump administration's position that the relevant immigration provision does not necessitate a bond hearing was more compelling. But why would Congress want to deny a bond hearing to individuals who reasonably fear persecution and torture and, as a result, face proceedings that may last many months or years? I can find no satisfactory answer to this question. Breyer wrote the dissent from this ruling. The Associated Press reported that Tuesday's decision sets a nationwide rule which will affect some lawyers and small subsets of non-citizens. So now that's interesting because that's one of the first rulings from the court that I've seen that has that 6-3 majority with the two sides, so to speak, at odds. Probably the first time I've seen that. I wonder if we'll get any word from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or anybody like that. So I guess we'll find out. All right, let's keep going because I'm almost out of time here. Let's see. House Democrats revoked border wall funding, expands sanctuary for illegal aliens. So while Texas is going to use the stimulus money to finish their part of the border wall, The House Democrats' budget for the Department of Homeland Security revokes funding for a border wall along the United States-Mexico border and expands President Joe Biden's initiative to provide sanctuary to as many illegal aliens as in the U.S. as possible. On Tuesday, Democrat-controlled House Appropriations Committee released their DHS funding for fiscal year 2022 that decreases funds for border controls and interior immigration enforcement, including stripping funding from border wall construction. I adamantly oppose my Democratic colleagues' proposed bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Representative Chuck Fleischman, a Republican of Tennessee, told Breitbart in a news statement. Nearly $53 billion in budget cuts, the nearly $53 billion budget cuts Custom and Border Protection funding by almost $930 million and reduces Immigration and Custom Enforcement funding by $1.5 million. That's ICE. Compared to the current fiscal year spending levels. The budget rescinds the previously appropriated $2.06 billion for border wall construction and provides no funding for additional U.S. Border Patrol agents. It also allows up to $100 million that was previously designated to build a border wall and to instead go to the Department of the Interior, where they have the former eco-terrorists running or being nominated for the. No, that's Budget and Land or Bureau of Land Management. Never mind, which is part of the Department of Interior. But anyway, so Democrats are going to kill this through funding vehicles. All right, let me take 1 minute here, and I shall return. I'll be right back. See you in a minute.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it, you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show.
Okay, that was funny there, Scrappy Pirate. Yes, my unskippable ad. I just had to refresh my coffee a little bit. Man, I have... Oh, take it easy, Lord Stanhope. Thanks for dropping in. Also, by the way, there's like 30 people, 40 people, 40. Oh, there were 41 at one time, 27 likes. Hit the like button if you think about it, or as you think about it. And if you haven't shared the stream or anything like that, you still have time to do that. You can do that anytime. Actually, you can share any stream. I don't take down any of my streams. And also these news articles that I've been going through, again, as you may know already, will all be listed in a single link in the description down below after the show, known as a one tab. And if you want to check out some of these articles later, that will be that. Good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. How you doing? Boy, we got into a big discussion about the Star Spangled Banner yesterday after you were talking with discussing with Maj Touré, and that conversation seems to still be going strong amongst us. Very interesting conversation. Check out the show from yesterday if you want to hear about that. All right, so yesterday we talked about Tucka. Tucka had a little question about whether or not the NSA or some other entity is spying on him. Well, apparently some people are starting to ask those questions to members of the administration. Jen Psaki refuses to answer a question on Tucker Carlson's spying claims, saying that the NSA focuses on foreign threats. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki dismissed a question on Tuesday about Fox News host and Daily Caller co-founder Tucker Carlson's claim that the NSA is spying on him. Tucker made the assertion during Monday's broadcast of Tucker Carlson Tonight, saying the NSA was monitoring his communications in an effort to get his show taken off the air. Psaki was asked about Tucker's claim when she spoke with reporters on Air Force One just hours later. Here's the. Oh no, this has got to be the whole thing. We're not. Yeah.
Tucker Carlson said that the NSA is spying on him. Is the administration aware of any espionage or listening efforts on U.S. citizens by the NSA, and is Tucker Carlson one of them?
Well, the NSA, as I think you're well aware, I'm sure everyone's aware, everyone on this plane is aware, I should say, is an entity that focuses on foreign threats and individuals who are attempting to do us harm on foreign soil. So that is their purview. But beyond that, I would point you to the intelligence community.
Okay, so that's a fascinating answer. That wasn't a no. It wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no. And, the NSA has had their problems, haven't they? How is it they were spying on Carter Page? Now, was that the NSA spying on Carter Page or whatever intelligence agency? Does it have to be just any intelligence agency, or could it just be Homeland Security? Because the Homeland Security Department kind of is that hovering, overseeing kind of group, so to speak, right? So was that an answer? Did it sound like an answer to you? Or it's selectable. That's the other question. Or is Tucker Carlson a foreign threat? Is he compromised by the Russians? Anyway, well, the NSA has been asked about this too, and they're responding. And now it says that the NSA claims that he has never been an intelligence target. Interesting. National Security Agency claimed in a statement Tuesday night that Tucker Carlson has never been an intelligence target, following the Fox News host's allegation that the agency is spying on him and monitoring his private communications. On June 28th, here's their statement right here. Here's the statement by the NSA. Let me pull this up. Come on. There we go. Here it is, full screen. On June 28, 2021, Tucker Carlson alleged that the National Security Agency has been monitoring our electronic communications and is planning to leak them in an attempt to take this show off the air. This allegation is untrue. Tucker Carlson has never been an intelligence target of the agency, and the NSA has never had any plans to try to take his program off the air. NSA has a foreign intelligence mission. We target foreign powers to generate insights on foreign activities that could harm the United States with limited exceptions, e.g. an emergency. NSA may not target U.S. citizens without a court order that explicitly authorizes the targeting. Now, that begs the question. Can you get a court order under false pretenses? Anyway, Carlson said on a show on Monday night that he confirmed the NSA is targeting him. A whistleblower from inside the federal government told Fox News host that the NSA was monitoring his private texts and emails. Carlson claimed and repeated back to him information on the story he was working on that only could have come from Carlson's texts and emails. We saw that the other day. So, now Carlson responded to the NSA statement on a show Tuesday night. He said he was glad to know that he wasn't an intelligence target, but still asked if the Biden administration had read his personal emails. The Fox News host said that he spoke to NSA officials directly, and they refused to explain why they couldn't answer the simple question. So interesting. It's not as if they would just say, "Oh yeah, we were spying on Tucker Carlson because reasons." That's probably not what they're going to tell us anyway. Advocate Stialby, no, well, if they deny it, they must not have done it. Yeah, exactly. That's surely what it is. And they had a legit FISA warrant for Carter Page, too. Good morning to Hate Camel, one of the original viewers of the Morning Night Live, and also Legit Low Talker. How you doing? Nice to see you. All right, I only got a couple left. Survivor of the Miami building collapse gives a chilling account of his escape. Riza Rodriguez, one of the survivors of the Miami building collapse, gave a chilling account of how she and a few of her neighbors escaped the building after it fell. CNN Wolf Blitzer's read Rodriguez's account of events on air Tuesday. The account is from a class action lawsuit that was filed on Rodriguez's behalf after the deadly collapse. Here's Wolf Blitzer's rendition of that letter after, after an unskippable commercial. Hang on, I don't want to hear that. Give me 1 second. We're going to let this commercial go by. Comcast Business. Yeah. Comcast actually did a pretty good job of fixing my problem. All right, here we go. Here's Wolf Blitzer. Oh, nope. Oh, gosh, another one. I hate that. There we go. All right.
Includes a truly harrowing account from one survivor who lived on the 9th floor. These are Riza Rodriguez's own words about how she and others made it out alive. I'm going to read the statement. She writes this. Listen to this. Something woke me up and I found myself in the middle of the room. The building swayed like a sheet of paper. I don't know if I jumped out of bed or how I got there. I switched on my bedroom lamp. There was no light. I moved towards the alarm and switched it off. I didn't want to wake my neighbors and I ran to the balcony. I opened the doors and a wall of dust hit me. I couldn't see anything outside. I got my cell phone and called my friend and neighbor Dick. There was no answer. I called my brother Fred. The call went to his voicemail. I ran through my apartment and out to the hallway. I looked left to the north end of the building. A concrete column had pierced the hallway from floor to ceiling. I looked at the elevators. The elevator shafts were exposed. The doors were gone. I knocked on several neighbors' doors, no answer. I run to the exit, open the doors that lead to the outside stairwell, and saw the devastation. The beach side of Champlain had collapsed, pancaked. I screamed in horror. A lady from the rubble heard my voice. She said, "Please help me. Please help me. Don't leave me here." I couldn't see her. There were no lights. I was still in my pajamas. I ran inside and got dressed. Someone pounded on my door. I opened. My neighbor, Yadira, from 908, was standing there with her 10-year-old son, Kai, and their Maltese puppy. I tried Jorge, my brother's husband. He answered. I remember repeating, "The building is gone. The building is gone." They said they were on the way, and I hung up. Yadira and I went to the balcony. First responders were arriving.
All right, so you get the idea, and if you want to see the entire account, this link will be in the tab. But I'm not gonna have the. It's another 2.5 minutes long, but it is. I listened to this earlier, and it is just. I couldn't imagine being in that situation where you're in a building, you come out your door, and half the building's gone, and so it's interesting. They have a class action lawsuit that they started up. Against I believe the building owners, and then they have a little bit of the account here. Eventually the group that she was with escaped through a balcony on the 2nd floor, and which I don't mean to joke, which may have been on the ground by then, but who knows. Now we were just talking about a little bit about climate change earlier, right? Remember that? And she said the wall had pancakes. These sound like someone else's words. That's not a phrase I would expect from the general public. I don't know. That's something I might have said. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway. All right. Okay. So there's the Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, said today or yesterday, which this is insane. This is kind of crazy if you ask me. She said, "We don't fully know if climate change caused the Florida building collapse." Hello, Nunya Beeswax. Biden administration Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said, "We don't know fully whether climate change caused the collapse of a condominium building in Florida. We don't know fully that climate change wasn't involved." Oh, I wish I had a crazy sound. Do you think, the question that was asked, do you think that climate change could have played a role in that building's collapse? A CNN anchor asked Granholm, who previously served as governor of Michigan. And, well, obviously, we don't know fully. We do know that the seas are rising, replied Granholm. We know that we're losing inches and inches of beach, not just in Florida, but all around. And I got you know, inches and inches of beaches. Were the seas rising so much that part of that building was underwater? I don't think so. I just don't. Listen, is this the recording? Oh, is this Daily Wire? Yeah, it is Daily Wire. Hang on. Damn, Daily Wire always gets me. That doesn't even make sense. What part of climate change would have caused that building to collapse?
Climate, you brought up what's happening, what we're seeing in the Pacific Northwest. But we've been talking a lot about what happened in Florida at the Surfside condominium building that collapsed. We don't know exactly what happened at this point.
We know. No. We do know some of the things, though. We do know that it had structural problems. We do know that they had some design flaws. We do know that the building owner was cited for some things that they hadn't fixed. We do know that there was about $10 million in renovations that the place needed. What the actual F would climate change have to do? Well, how much would the climate have to change to cause a building to collapse? Like, what would you need? Would you need part of it to be underwater that soaks part of the foundation in or something? I mean, are there buildings collapsing all over Miami, or was it this particular building which they know needed tens of thousands, maybe millions of dollars in renovations, including structural renovations?
Know about the changing climate, given that we've seen an increase in these so-called extraordinary tides and the impact that that can have in areas like South Florida. Do you think the
extraordinary tides, was this, I'm not even sure, was this a beachfront property? I'm not even sure. Does anyone know? Was this a beachfront property? Renee, who said this? Inches. Oh my God, someone tell Obama that his Martha Vineyard's property is about to lose inches of beach. Oceanside high-rise buildings are time bombs waiting to explode. This is a predictable event under normal circumstances. Oh, was it an Oceanside? I mean, you got to think that the foundation on any of these Oceanside tall buildings, there'd be shifting, don't you think? I don't know, but anyway.
Could have played a role in that building's collapse.
Well, obviously we don't know fully, but we do know that the seas are rising. I mean, we know that we're losing inches and inches of beaches, not just in Florida, but all around. Lake Michigan, where I'm from, we've seen the loss of beaches because the waters are rising. So,
what? Hold on a second. Is she saying that they're losing inches and inches of beaches in Lake Superior? Or Lake Michigan? Or whatever lakes are... What did she say we're losing inches and inches of beach in Michigan?
Michigan, where I'm from, just in Florida, but all around. Lake Michigan, where I'm from, we've seen the loss of beaches because the waters are rising. So,
oh my God. I didn't know that the waters were rising in Michigan, that you're losing inches and inches of beaches in aren't there 3 lakes in Michigan? Lake Michigan, part of Lake Superior, and also is it Huron? I don't know what lakes are in Michigan. Because you got the UP, which is on the Superior, and then you got Lake Michigan. Or is it just the 2? Maybe it's 3, but still. Are they losing inches and inches of beaches in Michigan due to rising waters? Anyone ever heard of that? You know, the Great Lakes icebergs. Yeah, I do. I didn't know that. Anybody? Somebody tell me. Someone from Michigan tell me about the beaches you're losing in Michigan because of the rising waters due to global warming. In fact, this year, because I have friends who have lake homes. Now, a couple of years ago, there was like excess rains, and a lot of the lakes were really high. Not this year. The lakes are all really low because of lack of water. So I don't know if she's losing beaches because of rising waters in the Great Lakes. Is that what she meant? That's the only beaches in Michigan, except for obviously inland lakes. What the hell is she talking about? Anyway.
So, you know, this is a phenomenon that will continue. Whether we'll have to wait to see what the analysis is for this building. But the issue about resiliency and making sure we adapt to this changing climate, that's going to mean levees need to be built. That means seawalls need to be built. That means infrastructure needs to be built.
Oh,
we need
yes,
to make sure that we
infrastructure.
invest
She's
enough in clearing out the forests so we don't have these weather.
That would be like a Pee Wee Herman word of the day. Infrastructure. Yay! 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 That's the word of the day. The word of the day is infrastructure. Yay! 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 Infrastructure. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe it. All right, let's finish up here because I've only got a couple more left. What was this one? So I'm going to come back to this one. I'm going to come back to Joe Biden on the cover of Vogue. So there's a CW, the CW network, has greenlighted a woke series reimagining Jane Austen's classics to show love and family in our time of inequality. So Jane Austen, the great author, a TV network is going to woken up the author's anthology, an anthology series which will update a number of Jane Austen classics for the modern viewer, is reportedly in production at the CW network to air over the next several years. The series, which appears to be taking a woke approach to the classic author's works, is expected to adapt a different novel with the first season adapting Pride and Prejudice and taking place in San Francisco, and will offer a kaleidoscope look at love and family in our time of inequality, according to Bounding into Comics. There have, of course, been several adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, including modern adaptations that place the iconic characters into more recognizable settings, but this series seems destined to adapt the stories in a different way. A woke way. Happy Woke Wednesday. This is your Woke Wednesday story of the day. The show is being developed by writer Eleanor Burgess and Stephanie Elaine's Homegrown Pictures and Warner Brothers TV. Bounding into Comics noted. Elaine's Homegrown Pictures, the outlet added, is on a mission to produce award-winning content from diverse voices that shape the culture and contribute to a legacy of complex depictions of people of color. The company also claims they are dedicated to creating content by and about women and people of color with authentic stories, depictions, and representations. Jane Austen, like many authors in a pantheon of literature, has fallen into disfavor in recent years amid concerns that Western classics perpetuate ideas of white supremacy in the wake of global Black Lives Matter protests. Austen, the Daily Wire reported earlier this year, is currently undergoing a BLM-inspired historical interrogation over her family's links to the slave trade and over her love of tea, a beverage that came to the United Kingdom courtesy of British colonial efforts in India. The staff at museum are now evaluating Jane Austen's place in Regency-era colonialism in the wake of Black Lives Matter protests, The Telegraph reported per the Daily Wire. The Pride and Prejudice author links to slavery through her father, George Reverend George Austin, at one time the trustee of the Antigua sugar plantation, will be highlighted with future displays at the property. So, you know, you used to just worry about what people did themselves and what their works are, and whether or not their works are worthy of praise and admiration. But no, now we have to dig into her family's history and whether or not her family, did the original sin. But the museum directors, and then the museum director has stated that Austin's tea drinking, a key social ceremony in her era and her novels, also links the writer to the exploitation of the British Empire, as did taking sugar in her tea and wearing cotton, both of which were produced, the museum says, in questionable surroundings, according to the Telegraph. So they're gonna woken up her novels on TV, and they're gonna berate her for drinking tea with sugar and wearing cotton clothing, because, you know, there's only one place that those things could have come from, and no matter how you slice it. So there you go. All right, let's finish up with Jill Biden. Jill Biden is on the cover of Vogue, of course, because, you know, just that's how it goes. But now again, this is the New York Post. Vogue's Jill Biden cover is so fawning it would embarrass North Korean propaganda. This is from the New York Post. I don't think it should be, you know, me versus the press, Biden tells Vogue magazine for its August issue. Me versus the press? Jill Biden versus the press? Really? She has nothing to worry about. Vogue's piece, written by Jonathan Van Meter, is so fawning, such shameless propaganda, that even North Korea journalists would be embarrassed to have their names on it. Quote, "A first lady for all of us," says the cover, and that's just the start. The piece describes Jill Biden as the, quote, "famously empathetic and free of pomp, hardworking, heart on her sleeve, everywhere at once, first lady that America needs now." Van Meter calls her a goddess. Jill Biden is unelected, but the lengths at which Van Meter went to portray her as a national treasure adored by the masses is, well, they say shocking. I'm going to say embarrassing. Vogue calls her a joy multiplier and effortlessly popular. He describes her as a key player in her husband's administration. Yeah, she's the one who tells him where to go and when to go and makes sure that he goes in the right direction and doesn't get lost on his way to the bathroom. Anyway, and someone who reminds us of ourselves. Now, I'm sure she's a nice individual and whatnot, but it's kind of weird how that she kind of seems to be in charge of everything. The ourselves, quote unquote, apparently refers to left-wing coastal journalists who knock at the knees for Democrats. Everything about the Bidens titillated Van Meter. He called it impressive to see the president kneel down. He called his suit impeccable. He said Jill was looking every inch of a goddess. At 69, Van Meter swoons over her empathetic president. Our empathetic president, our human first lady, and the compassion both bring to the White House. Jill says, "I feel as though people can breathe again," Jill Biden says. You can almost hear the writer nodding along. Breathe? Not if there's a nuclear war in China and India, because then the cover of the fallout would be making us all dead. Anyway, let's see. You can almost hear the writer nodding along. Yeah. Biden can oversee an uptick in unemployment, a surge in gas prices, and a steep rise in inflation. But as so long as he cries in public, all will be well with the press. No more mean tweets. Fashion magazine Vogue famously refused to profile fashion model Melania Trump. It was petty, though not unexpected, considering how it operates. But the spine-snapping effort by the press to create a mythology around the Bidens is something to witness. It's not enough to say the Trumps were bad. The Bidens must be elevated to the status of religious figures. Halfway through the hagiography, Van Meter writes, quote, "It's moments like this with the Bidens hugging children that bring home just how incomprehensibly irregular and out of place our previous president and first lady was." Other than a border overrun by all of the Latin Americans destitute, murder is on the rise, and ascendant China. Aren't you so much more at ease now that you have a president who will hug a child on camera and sniff her hair? With journalists like these, who needs friends? And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling it a day. By the way, it's a day. Thanks for being here today. Please hit the like button before you do anything else. The Morning Night Live is here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT. If you haven't already hit the like button, do that. Also, you can share the stream, whether before, during, or after the show. Let people know that we're here. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, you can do that through Streamlabs, SuperChats, Venmo, Cashapp. All that information is in the description down below. Thanks for our sponsor today, Gunfox61, who is a prolific sponsor of the show. We appreciate you. And if you're watching on replay, please put a comment in the comment section. In fact, if you haven't watched the whole show and you want to go back and watch the beginning, put a comment in the comment section. And if you want to read any of the articles or links today from the show, do me a favor. And after the show, I'll have a single link right under the first paragraph of the description. That will have a link that will have every article we touched on in one single tab. So thanks everybody for being here today. Time for me to go. My name is, oh, wait a minute, wait. Good morning, somebody. Nice to see you. Just caught you there. There we go. Now, that's it for today. Time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.